Hey, I got a bone to pick.
Guys, I am so fired up.
Sleep deprived and all, I'm happy to be here.
You probably cut up your hot dog. You don't need it on a bun.
We're here, boys. It's Monday morning, Field of 68, DTF Podcast. John Fanta, Terrence Oglesby. I'm Rob Doster, and we officially are done with the regular season in college basketball. March could not be more here, boys. It could not be more here. We have brackets. We have Big East tournaments. We have Mountain West tournaments. We have everything that you could possibly ask for. I could not be more fired up. John Fanta is live from Mohegan Sun. T.O. is getting ready to go hop on a plane to fly to Vegas to do the Mountain West Conference tournament. He's never been more jacked up as in his entire life.
Wow.
We're here, boys. We're here.
Vanta,
how are you, man?
And you've been thrown out of games, Terrence Oglesby. I mean, you just look you look ready for Vegas. You got a backwards black cap on for those who can't see and that are just listening on the feed. He's ready to go, folks.
Hey,
this
Vanta,
is championship
how about the matching
week.
Adidas hat and Adidas t-shirt? How about that?
Yeah.
That's how you know
give me
my
a
deal,
Adidas. Give me a deal.
One of my favorite all-time stories. Final Four luncheon for Under Armour. And it's when Adidas was getting investigated and pressured. And Gary Williams, because Maryland has been Mr. Under Armour, Gary Williams gets up at the luncheon. They invite him up to the stage, the Hall of Famer, the great. And they say, all right, Coach Williams has a few words to say. And he kind of gingerly walks up to the front of the Capitol Grill in Minneapolis. And he goes, well, everybody, we may not be Nike, but at least we're not Adidas. And the whole room didn't know how to react at the time. But you're rocking the Adidas. It's championship week. This is such a great week. This is such a great, and I think for the casual, underrated week on the calendar. See, everybody's excited for next week, and I get it. We are too. But what's great about this week is you don't have to wait until Thursday for the week to fully rev up. There are conference championship games. There are bids to be claimed every single night this week. I can't wait to see who the bid stealers are. I can't wait to see what it looks like from a mid-major perspective. I can't wait to see Samford take on East Tennessee State in the SoCon tonight. That's one of my favorite conference championship games down there in Asheville. Terrence Oglesby, I know you're excited for the SoCon title game.
I love that. I love the SoCon. I did that tournament, the quarterfinal day, a couple of years ago. That is such a great atmosphere. How about the comeback that ETSU had yesterday? Down 20, coming back, getting it to overtime, and beating Chattanooga. What a play! And we were talking about this before we jumped on here. Brooks Savage, who people don't know really, he was a GA under Bruce Pearl. He was under Steve Forbes at ETSU, followed him to Wake Forest. Then he got the ETSU job. He's the next sideline antics guy that people are going to love and people are going to hate all at the same time. But he's going to have a lot of success. He's going to have a lot of success in Johnson City, and don't be shocked here in the next 3 to 4 years if Brooks Savage's name starts getting thrown around in the mix for some of these Power 6 gigs. I'm telling you, like, he's that next crazy guy, Coach, and he's one of my favorites in the industry because he is nuts, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, so we're going to have we're recording this on Monday at 10:10 a.m. Eastern time, the only legitimate time zone. East Tennessee State, the 7 seed, plays Samford in the SoCon title game. Arkansas State tonight plays James Madison in the Sun Belt title game. Tomorrow night, we're going to have
Brian Hodgson.
Brian Hodgson. We're going to have a couple more tickets punched. The CNA tomorrow. The A10 is going to start tomorrow. We also have the Horizon League final is going to be tomorrow. We're going to have the NEC champion crown tomorrow. Wagner against Merrimack.
Donald Copeland and the Seahawks.
He's a Pirate, right?
He's a Pirate. Seton Hall has the second most head coaches that are alums in college basketball. Duke is first. Seton Hall University is second.
Yep. Summit League final, WCC final, which got a lot less interesting now that Gonzaga and St. Mary's look like they're both going to get automatic bids. We had an insane week of hoops already. Arkansas State won on a buzzer beater last night. We had Boise State and San Diego State. We had a half-court bomb from Max Rice. We had T.O. going nuts. We had T.O. jinx the shit out of San Diego State last night. One of the best calls I've ever heard in my entire life, okay? T.O., I'm going to walk the people through it, all right? It is the end of regulation. I believe that there are about 15 seconds left. San Diego State is down by 3. And T.O., I think what you said was, if I'm Boise State here, I don't want to foul because San Diego State doesn't really shoot it all that well. And as you say, doesn't really shoot it all that well. Darian Trammell lines up a 3, lets it fly, and you say he doesn't really shoot it all that well. Swish! Oh, but he hit that
I fell out of my seat. So I fell out of my seat. Here's the thing: San Diego State's worst shooting team in the Mountain West. Yeah. Like they shoot 30% from 3. They can't shoot all that well. Doesn't matter at that moment in time. Darian Trammell, dude, knocks down a huge one. Boise State snuck one on a Max Rice half-court shot with 2 minutes to go to solidify the win in overtime on the road. It was. Dude, incredible. I love chaos.
Did it live up to it? Chaos. Did it live up to
I'll order it every time. Doster.
Man, I swear, as soon as that happened to you, I texted you because you were live on air.
Unreal.
But I was sitting here cracking up like, there's no way that just happened. There's no way that he just did that. I know my man is having the time of his life right now.
I love it.
Oh, that was awesome.
I caught so much shit from San Diego State fans.
Yeah, whatever. They're not.
I caught so much shit because, the thing is, announcers, we don't care who wins. We want a good game. That's what we want because that's our job. We want to have a good game. San Diego State's we're not fans of your boy. That's okay.
Well, look, you know what? San Diego State fans, the one thing I love about them is they are insanely passionate. Like,
dude, nuts.
So yeah, they're going to get after you a little bit because they care about their program quite a bit, and I respect that. I can't hate on them for that. And also, I support anybody that hates you. Fanta, before we're going to get into a long preview of all of these conference tournaments today, but before we do, you are at the women's tournament. There's a really awesome story that's kind of developing at the women's the women's Big East tournament at Mohegan Sun. I'm going to give you the floor for a couple of minutes. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, this is what March is for, guys. This is what March is all about. And it's really amazing. So tonight, as we're doing this podcast on Monday morning, tonight at 7 Eastern time on FS1, looking forward to having the call with Sarah Kustok and Kim Adams for the 9th-ranked team in the country, the Connecticut Huskies, who are coming on, by the way, and really playing well.
Hey, shout out to you guys, by the way. You did back-to-back days of 4 straight games on the call, right? Woof! That is a long day of hoops. Shout out to you.
And he was doing the studio between games.
Sarah. You were doing studio too?
Yep. We were doing the bridge shows. We were doing the gap shows. So it's been crazy, but we're here. We're ready to go. I'm excited to have a championship game here tonight, and it's UConn, and on the other side, it's Georgetown. Now, you hear Georgetown, you think, well, tradition, great history. They've had NCAA tournament runs in women's basketball and made the Sweet 16 before. They've never been to the Big East championship game. They are in their first ever Big East championship game. Now, where am I going with this? In October, 2 weeks before the season started, their first-year head coach, just got the job in the spring, Tasha Butts, died from cancer at the age of 41. So sad. So sad. She had battled it, fought it off, then it came back, and that was it. Cancer stinks. It's absolutely awful. And this team of women went to her funeral service 3 days before their season started. Started their season with, obviously, without their head coach, now with an interim head coach named Darnell Haney. He had been a high school boys coach, had coached the Jacksonville women, was going to take an assistant job down in Florida. And Tasha Butts said, could you come and be on my staff for a little bit? He said, okay. All right, I'll do it. Without that phone call, Darnell Haney's not in this position where he has earned the full-time job here at Georgetown now because the Hoyas have their first 20-win season in over a decade. And on their deceased coach's birthday, what would have been her 42nd birthday, they clinched their spot in the Big East Championship game with one of the biggest wins in program history, beating a Creighton team that had lost just 2 games in the last 86 days.
Wow.
That was 25-4 entering the game. Shocking. And Creighton had won 10 in a row in the series. It's a stunning win. It's a stunning result. And this Georgetown team picked 10th out of 11 in the Big East. The 11th team that was picked in the Big East preseason poll, just to reflect how bad they are, Xavier, didn't even win a game in the conference. They went DePaul. They went over. This Georgetown team was picked just above them, meaning you're basically disrespected as well. They're one of the last 2 standing with Paige Beckers and UConn for a title tonight. UConn still without Aaliyah Edwards. She's doubtful tonight. We'll see if she plays. If she does not, and Georgetown can find any defensive answer for Paige Beckers, it's going to be very, very hard. It could be a ball game. But I'm amazed, guys. You get one of your biggest wins in program history on your late coach's 42nd birthday, and you have your first 20-win season in over a decade after nobody thought anything of you in the preseason. That's the magic of March. Paige Becker said this yesterday to our TV crew. She said, in March, I don't care if you're a women's player. I don't care if you're a men's player. T.O., you played the game at a high level. Paige said, you've got to have faith. March is a time of belief. It's a time where the dream becomes reality. We will be talking about a team or player or coach at this time next week that we will have not spoken about on this podcast the entirety of the season, because during this championship week, somebody's going to have their best week of the entire season, and they're going to steal a bid to the NCAA tournament, and we're going to be saying how unbelievable it is that they found a way to do it.
Yep. Well said. By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. This is how the app works. All of the podcasters, bloggers, and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in the Autograph app. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or trying to navigate the safer workspaces on Twitter, you can just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I am a UConn fan, and I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to about UConn basketball. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets to games and the grand prize, a trip to the LA Regional and a spot in a suite for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. Here's the best part. We've partnered with Autograph to donate $1 to the V Foundation every time someone downloads the app using the code F68, with a minimum of $2,500 getting donated. The app is free, so download, use the code F68, help us raise a little bit of money for cancer research, and give Autograph a try. I promise you it will be worth it. And while we're here, a quick reminder, make sure that you subscribe to the Daily. We have new landing pages with deep dives into each coaching change, as well as a tracker that provides scouting reports on the transfers that have entered the portal that you are going to want to know about. Hit the link below to subscribe. All right, that is a perfect segue for us to get into the other side of the Big East tournament, the men's tournament. What we're going to do here, we have 7 tournaments we're going to break down. We're going to start with the Big East. We have 6 minutes to talk about each one of these. I already told T.O. he gets extra time, bonus credit, extra credit to talk about his Mountain West. It's not just the Mountain West. It's T.O.'s Mountain West tournament. So we'll start with the Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. Both Fanta and I will be there. Butler Xavier is going to be the first game on Wednesday. UConn's the 1 seed. We have a thriller with Seton Hall and St. John's in the Garden. Providence gets Georgetown, and then potentially Creighton to get a chance to earn a bid. Villanova gets DePaul, then potentially Marquette to have a chance to earn a bid. T.O., biggest storyline for you heading into the Big East tournament, the thing that you're looking out for?
Is anybody going to take down UConn? UConn looks like the most well-oiled machine I've seen for the past 3-4 years, probably since Baylor and Gonzaga coming into the tournament. I think they look that good. Now, they're not undefeated. That's a given. I understand all that. But they're playing so well right now, and they've just hit their stride at the perfect time. Dan Hurley, is somebody going to be able to take them down? Because I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't really see anything bad happening to them until maybe championship. What is it? Championship Sunday, Saturday, whatever it is. They're been fan freaking tastic over the last month. I just don't know. And I think the other thing is St. John's and Rick Pitino, can they win a game and really keep it close with UConn in that second round or third round, I guess, of the tournament? Because if they win that game against Seton Hall, have a good showing against UConn, I think, they get into the tournament. I think that's going to be big.
Yep.
Well, it's a fascinating Big East tournament. I think that the quarterfinal Thursday is the best quarterfinal lineup that we've seen since the old league, because you're talking about Connecticut and either Xavier or Butler. For those who don't know, Sean Miller made some poignant comments a couple of weeks ago about Dan Hurley indirectly, that he gets more calls than everybody else, that there's a tier system in the league. If it's Xavier UConn, I can promise you there will be no love lost between those two coaches. Seton Hall and St. John's. In a way that this is perfect. St. John's has won 5 in a row, but are they for real? If you're for real, you win this game. You don't get beat by Seton Hall 3 times. And St. John's fans have been fooled before. They've been fooled before. So this Thursday is the validating moment. If St. John's wins this game, they're for sure getting their name called on Selection Sunday. If they lose this game, they're going to be sweating. Seton Hall is going to go in the dance. They got it done over Villanova. They beat DePaul. They went 13-7 in the Big East. Shaheen Holloway's had an incredible season. Kadari Richmond, guys, can be that guard that takes over a Big East tournament. He is capable of it. Now he's just got to string it together. He's an elite finisher. Now, the winner of this game gets the gauntlet of having to go against Connecticut, and I don't think anybody has the stones to pick St. John's or Seton Hall to beat UConn. The other side of the bracket, what makes it so intriguing? The biggest question hanging over this tournament is the status of Tyler Kolek for Marquette. Will he play? Will he not play? I do not think that he will play in the Big East tournament. I don't. I think that this is
just for the record, not to cut you off. I think that's a mistake. I think at the very least you play him for 10 minutes as a decoy, just so you can say to the committee, yeah, we're still trying to get his legs back under him, but he's healthy. He's good to go. I think you got to get him out there so you might cost yourself a couple seeds doing that. So, go ahead, Fanta.
We'll see what happens. I for one, I mean, I don't know anything. I don't have something, solid enough to say this is what I'm reporting. It's my opinion. My opinion based on the fluidity of this situation is I'm doubtful he's going to play because of some of the answers that I've gotten on this and that we've gotten on this. It does not sound great. It does not sound very optimistic. Now, maybe he plays, and if he plays, that changes the whole tournament. And if he's going for Marquette and doing their thing, let me tell you, Big East coaches, you made a big mistake. Okay? You didn't recognize Cam Jones on a first team, a second team, or honorable mention. That was a bad idea.
What? Wow.
He's not a top 13 player in the Big East.
Yeah,
Say that again. I missed that. I was sitting here looking at the numbers.
All right. So the coaches vote for all Big East first team. That's 6 players.
Yeah.
A second team is 5 players. And then an honorable mention. Okay. That was 3 guys. Cam Jones didn't get named to any of those.
That's insane.
Wow.
So I believe that is a really, really bad idea because I expect Cam Jones to make a statement. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't care if Tyler Kolek plays or not. Marquette's going to beat Villanova. They're going to find a way to gut out a win over Villanova, even if they don't have Tyler Kolek. Now, what makes that so intriguing? Rob, is Villanova not fighting for its remaining pulse on Thursday night at 9:30?
That's the thing. The most intriguing thing about this tournament to me is you have 4 teams that are right there on the bubble between Seton Hall, St. John's, Villanova, and Providence. I think
Seton Hall is off the bubble. Take them off the bubble.
Seton Hall is probably going to be in. The only way they don't get in is if they lose to St. John's and then like a bunch of other teams make runs. Like I think
Seton Hall's in.
They're
in.
I think
they're probably in. So I think the best case scenario for the Big East is St. John's beats Seton Hall and gets into the tournament. Villanova finds a way to beat Marquette and gets in the tournament. Providence finds a way to beat Creighton and gets in the tournament. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Providence has the best chance of them and Villanova to be able to get a win. I think that they can beat Creighton. But I think it's going to end up being St. John's, Seton Hall, and a 5-team Big East bid. That's my guess of what happens. All right. 6 minutes is up. Give me a prediction. Who wins it? T.O.
UConn wins it, but I got to say something about Cam Jones. He averaged 17, shot 51 and 41. 17 on 51-41 shooting. He didn't make the top 13 players.
That's ridiculous.
14.
Yeah.
14.
Oof.
That's ridiculous. That's a joke. Cam Jones, you're a first team all field of 68. Boom. There you go. Our fashion correspondent. Big Cam Jones guy over here. All right, T.O. or Fanta, give me your prediction. Who wins it? Who do they beat?
UConn meets Creighton for the title. UConn wins.
Yeah,
Connecticut wins the rubber match. UConn wins the Big East tournament for the first time since Kemba Walker.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning as well. Same matchup.
You were going to pick somebody else besides UConn?
No.
You haven't
I
picked
just wanted you guys to say it
UConn
first so I didn't seem like a homer. I just wanted you to say it first. All right, T.O., we're going to, you know what? We're just doing it. We're going to the Mountain West next because I freaking love the Mountain West. Talk to me about the Mountain West. We have the seeds here. Utah State is the 1 seed. They will play the winner of Wyoming, Fresno State. UNLV, San Diego State is the 4-5 game. We have Nevada as the 2 seed. Probably ends up getting Colorado State. Boise as the 3 seed. Probably ends up getting New Mexico. I think New Mexico's got to get to the semis to get a bid, T.O. And if UNLV finds a way to get to the semis, we're going to have a very interesting conversation about their bubble status. 7-bid Mountain West, Terrence Oglesby.
It's possible. It's possible. I think that the weird part about this whole thing is the fact that the running, like what everybody kind of expects is that UNLV has to win the conference tournament in order to get there. They've won, what is it? Like, I want to say 10
like
out of their last 12.
Yeah, it's like 12 out of 14 or something like that.
Yeah, 12 out of 14. Like it, or yeah, whatever. 13 out of the last 15. Like, we're still here talking about, I understand no non-conference win, like all that stuff, but like in that league, and they're on the bubble, having been the number 4 seed in that conference, which I think is conference seeding to go along with what you're expected to do in the NCAA tournament in the bubble. I can't understand it anymore, boys. I can't understand it. I don't understand. That all being said, not only is UNLV playing better and could win this tournament, it's getting really interesting. What I'm looking at is day 1, New Mexico versus Air Force. Air Force has had success against 2 teams all year. It has been New Mexico and it has been UNLV. The most athletic teams, the guys who like to get up and pressure, and the guys that tend to flood a little bit heavy to the ball side, Air Force has success against because they swing that ball over the top and they're able to knock down some shots from the perimeter. New Mexico cannot afford another loss to Air Force. That cannot happen. They have to win that game. After you get to, if you're able to beat Air Force and get to Boise State, they've lost to Boise State once. I think they've only played them once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they lost. They weren't able to beat Boise State at all this year. So they lost to them at home and they lost to them on the road. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. If New Mexico beats Air Force, they beat Boise State, they get to that semifinal game. They should at least be right there at it in, just kind of leaving it up. But they need to win 2. They need to win 2 because they didn't finish well. Lost to Air Force at home by 1, which was an insane game. And then lost to Boise, beat Fresno, and lost by 2 at Utah State. They needed that game, and they didn't get it. And here we are talking about, like, I think it's 2 and out. 2 and knit. 2 and knit. 2 or knit. 2 or knit. There you go.
There you go. Fanta?
Ooh, it's a great tournament. I can't wait for the Mountain West. I mean, I'm so excited. And I'll tell you what, this league's been so wild and everybody's been talking about its top half, and they're right. But the back half is not that bad either.
Mm-mm.
So like San Jose State's been in games. They've had a tough year. They've had a rough year.
Awful.
They've lost a lot of games.
Yeah.
But you just look down the line here. You just said it with Air Force. Colorado State, to me, if of the teams playing on the first day, okay, New Mexico, Colorado State, Wyoming, Fresno State, San Jose State, and Air Force. There's no question who I'm taking out of day 1 to if they can make a run all the way. It's Colorado State still. It's Isaiah Stevens and it's Cartier and it's their balance. But the team that I think that I'm trusting the most here to win this tournament, and it's really, really hard. I mean, the margin is very, very slim. I'm going to go with the 26-6 Nevada Wolfpack to win the Mountain West because, number one, they haven't lost a game since February 13th. Like, think about that. They haven't lost a game since February 13th. Oh, by the way, they lost that game by a point. By a freaking point to New Mexico. They got swept by New Mexico. So that's interesting if they were in the same pod, but they're not. They would meet New Mexico potentially in the semis if New Mexico got there. But this team, when you look at the job Steve Alford's done, and he has done a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. Darren Lucas, Keenan Blackshear, those guys are buckets. And you add in Nick Davidson and what he brings to the table from a rebounding perspective, that offense can click. Like, Lucas is a 40% three-point shooter. Okay?
He's a bucket, Fanta. He is a bucket. He is big. He can shoot it. He can go for 30. Every time I've had him, he's had massive games.
You know, we've got a number of teams in this conference with terrific records. But, like, Nevada's consistency really stands out to me. And I like their overall draw. You know, the fact that Nevada, Colorado State is going to be a quarterfinal is absurd in this league. That tells you how great of a league it is. And that I'm not buying
look at all the quarterfinals. We could have Boise State, New Mexico. We could have Nevada, Colorado State. We have UNLV, San Diego State on UNLV's home court, and potentially Utah State, Wyoming. Wyoming's pretty damn good too. This league is so stupid, man. I'm awesome.
I'm not buying into the UNLV hype. I think it's hype. I think they're playing terrific. Aztecs get revenge. If you had to pick that game, give me a winner. Aztecs. That's my pick.
That's your pick. All right, we're at 6 minutes now. So give me your predictions for who's going to win. I think you're right, by the way. I think that San Diego
You
State.
do think I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think San Diego. Oh, here, I'll go first then. I think San Diego State wins the Mountain West tournament. I think that they're cutting down the nets and they win the Mountain West tournament this year. I think that they're going to beat Boise State in the title game, which is unfortunate for New Mexico and Richard Pitino because I want that to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. Fanta, who you got? Give me a prediction.
Yeah, I'm going with Nevada. I just think, you know, they won the Diamond Head out in Hawaii, and so they're experienced on this type of setting, and they've lost just once in the last month plus. I like Jared Lucas. I like Keenan Blackshear. T.O., the reason why I like the Wolfpack, not that other teams don't have this, but game on the line, that team knows how to figure out ways to score the bucket because they've got two incredible weapons in Blackshear and Lucas, and Stevie Alford deserves an immense amount of credit.
Stevie.
For the job that he has done with this team. So I'm going to go with Nevada. I want to hear what the Mountain West Master has to say. Does he agree with Rob? Does he agree with me, or is he going elsewhere?
One guy that doesn't get enough credit for Nevada is Nick Davidson, who's just a perfect glue guy. He's had some monster games out there, 6'9", and can really just kind of do it all for them. If they don't play New Mexico, I think Nevada could win it. If they don't play New Mexico, because New Mexico, for some reason, has their number with Jalen House and Keenan Blackshear. Jalen House gives up about 5 inches and 50 pounds, but he has a way of getting underneath their skin. So as long as they don't play New Mexico, I think Nevada can win. But the thing is, guys, are we just overlooking what Danny Sprinkle and Utah State?
I agree.
Are we just overlooking them? They by far, and I'm saying this nicely, they by far have the easiest quarterfinal game.
Yes.
It gets really interesting on Friday, March 15th. Do they have UNLV? Do they have San Diego State? I'm telling you, you might not think so. UNLV has a real shot at winning this. D-Don Thomas Jr. is a bad boy. They're huge across the front line. The Boone brothers block everything. And they have a guy named Rob Whaley, Fanta, who is 6'5", 280 pounds, and can move. He should be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. He's that athletic. He's that big. I'm telling you, that UNLV has a real shot. They're going to have to make shots, but they have a real chance at winning this league. What I'm hoping happens is New Mexico beats Air Force, and then they really compete hard with Boise because I love those guys at Boise too. I want New Mexico in the tournament because that is as far as watching a team and a fun team to watch, they are up there because they are nuts. They have scoring. Jalen House could be like this guy who just goes nuts in March. I want them in the tournament because I think the tournament will be better with New Mexico in it.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's move to the SEC. We're heading down to Nashville. Fanta,
Did I pick a team? I didn't pick a team.
You didn't pick a team. You went
Nevada. You said Nevada unless they play New Mexico.
I'm going with the 1 seed just because nobody picked the 1 seed. I think Utah State and Great Alcibor is really good. So let me go Utah State.
All right, kissing up to Dana Sprinkle there. I see what you're doing. All right, there is nothing better in sports than tournament time, which is why I need to tell you guys about our partners over at Rhythm. If you're into sports betting, you need Rhythm, the place for data-backed props and picks. For those that are unfamiliar, Rhythm, spelled RITHMM, is the go-to mobile app for player props and game picks. Backed by AI predictive models, Rhythm helps you make smarter and faster betting decisions across all sports, but particularly college basketball. With Rhythm, you get data-backed picks for every single Division I game every single day. Users get free picks daily with the ability to upgrade to unlimited access. If you want to increase your edge and win more bets, go to the link in the description and download Rhythm today. That's RITHMM, the place for data-backed props and picks. And while we're here, let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, Splash Sports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all. Join Splash and come prove that you're smarter than us.
Don't care about
the SEC
that
Tournament, Fanta. We have good old Rocky Top as the number 1 seed. Auburn is the 4.
My wife's sleeping.
Kentucky is the 2 seed. Alabama's a 3. You got Florida as a 6. You got South Carolina as a 5. We have the Arkansas Razorbacks just kind of sitting there as a 4 seed. And Missouri.
Can Missouri make a run? Can Missouri make a run?
No way.
No.
There's no chance.
Honestly, like, I'll tell you this. If we get the semifinal matchups that I think that we're going to get, I think the SEC, that Saturday for the SEC semis, Fanta, will be probably the best semis that you're going to get in a conference tournament this year. Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky, Alabama, that has a chance to be electric.
I've got a crazy prediction for this.
Ooh, I love crazy predictions.
I'm going wild on this one, okay? Because I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing recently. I know. Arkansas makes the SEC semifinals.
I wouldn't be shocked.
So they start as the 12 against Vandy. They're winning that game. Mm-hmm. They face South Carolina. There's not a talent disparity. Okay? It's really not a coaching disparity. Like, I love the job Lamont Paris has done, but Mussel's going to have this group ready to go. You telling me Arkansas can't win that game? Of course they can win that game. So they win that game. Then they play Auburn. Now Auburn, who I have a lot of respect for, but I don't love them in a conference tournament. Here's why. For some third time around that you're seeing them, you know what they're going to be offensively. Auburn guards, but I still don't trust them a ton on the offensive end of the floor. With that in mind, I like the way Arkansas score in the basketball. They scored. They beat LSU. They hung 94. Now Kentucky doesn't guard a ton unless they want to. They scored 102 against Kentucky. They scored 82 against Vandy. Like, they lost, but they scored. And I just think that they could be a sleeper here and get there. Now, nobody's beating Tennessee on Tennessee's side of the bracket, in my humble opinion. Like, Tennessee is set up to make the final here, guys. They're going to play LSU or Mississippi State. They're not losing that game. move on there. Even if they get Auburn or South Carolina, you're telling me that either of those two teams going to beat Tennessee and Nashville? It ain't happening. Tennessee's making the final of this. It's hard for me to go against them. I like the Volunteers too much to pick somebody differently.
Terrence?
Tennessee wins it. I don't have much else. I've waxed poetic about Tennessee for so long. I do think they beat Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU. Hopefully they compete a little bit. Tennessee's too good, and then I think Auburn's just not geared to beat Tennessee in a tournament setting. I don't think.
No,
I just they're just too big, too physical. It is what it is. I think the finals day is where it gets it. This is where it gets interesting for me. Maybe even a Kentucky-Alabama semifinal game would be interesting. Outside of that, this tournament really didn't do it for me. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I disagree. I like the tournament. I do.
Yeah, not this year. I've been to the SEC tournament. It's great. Where they have it there at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville is awesome. It's a great place to be. I just
wait a minute
this year I'm just kind of.
Oh, stop! Hold on a second.
What would make me happy?
Back. No, I'm pushing back on you. Here's why I'm pushing back on you. You're telling me that first off, the offensive basketball that's played between Kentucky and Alabama, if we get that in the semifinal, that's
if we get that
basketball theater. That's the best.
How about Florida, Alabama?
I just
said. I literally just said Kentucky, Alabama.
You did not just say that. You did not just say that.
No, you didn't say that.
What about Florida, Alabama in the quarters? They don't play any defense in this league. If there's nobody in the world that should love SEC basketball more than young Terrence Oglesby. Okay. All they do is fire up threes. All they do is play like this. Nobody wants to play any defense. And you're telling me this league isn't any good? Fanta, are you hearing this?
I didn't say it was any good. I said this tournament doesn't do it for me. Vanderbilt, Arkansas, ho-hum. Arkansas, South Carolina, meh. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, meh.
What about the
Missouri,
final?
Georgia, meh.
What about
Georgia,
the final?
Florida, meh. Like, what do you want me to say? I think once you get to the semifinals, it's a good semifinal, but only on one side.
But what if it's Tennessee, Kentucky in the final?
What about South Carolina, Auburn? What about South Carolina, Auburn in the quarterfinals? We're talking about two teams that were competing for the SEC championship.
What'd you say? Hold on. What'd you say? South Carolina, Auburn?
Yeah, what about South Carolina, Auburn? What about Arkansas making a run? What about the Must Bus? The Must Bus has got new tires. The Must Bus just got an oil change. The Must Bus is revving. They just put a Mustang. They just put a Mustang engine in there, right? They got a Hemi.
Yeah, they put a Mustang engine with BMW brakes and tried to put a convertible on it. It looks like a wagon, is what it looks like. And that wagon,
they are a wagon. They are absolutely a wagon.
So you know what?
Bet them like they're a wagon. Money line.
Yeah. Okay,
so
fine.
Money line.
Okay. Well, let's thrilling stuff. 14 and whatever they are, 15 or whatever they are. Arkansas team makes the semifinals. Color me excited. I think the semifinal game between Kentucky and Alabama would be fun. Tennessee is going to roll roughshod through South Carolina or Auburn because it might as well be a Tennessee home game at that point. If they're not playing Kentucky, and then Tennessee, Kentucky in the finals would be fun. Okay.
Yeah. Then you know what?
I'll give you this. Let's get Tennessee, Kentucky round 3. That's the only. If there's one thing,
just skip the other games.
Basketball gods. Dear basketball gods, I ask
skip the other games.
I ask one thing of you here in this week, championship week, that's so important to us. Give us a Kentucky, Tennessee SEC title game leading into Selection Sunday. That's all we need.
Now wait,
all we need, guys. Just pray to the basketball gods. Send up a couple Hail Marys.
I agree, but if you
send up a couple TJ Sorrentines from the parking lot.
But if you talk about shout out Coach Brennan.
TB, my man.
Yeah. Shout out Tom Brennan, who called me a couple weeks ago, and it's just the best phone call in America. Okay,
I love when that pop up and I just see Tom Brennan on my phone. I'm like, here we go. What is going to happen for the next 25 minutes of my life?
I didn't see him last time I was in Vermont. I didn't see him this year.
They'll be in the American East.
Probably because
they will, but I'm not doing that game. You know who's doing the American East? You know who's doing the American East game?
Randolph Childress.
Wow, that's great.
T.O., I got something to tell you. My Vermont fan buddies are not happy about this. Okay,
I couldn't do it. They asked me to do it. I couldn't do it.
Oh, I know, and they're not happy. That this is like a good luck thing. Okay, if Vermont doesn't win, if they don't make it, if they lose in the title game at home, T.O., like you're going to be getting some angry text messages on that group chat. Like you're going to lose too, man. You might have jinxed this.
Hey, don't. It wasn't me. Hey, the jinx wasn't me. It was Jay Alter. You need Jay Alter back there. Jay Alter's not doing it.
Wait a minute. And
Get
shout
mad
out,
at Jay Alter.
shout out Jay Alter, original host of Big E Shoot Around with me. Okay. If you're going to talk about the SEC like that, okay, you Southeastern Conference bastard, we're gonna go to the conference that you love next. Yeah,
It's a
Rob.
I like how
Bore
Fanta
hole.
just took over my show. That's exactly where I was going. Great
No,
job.
Rob,
Fanta.
It's a
steer the
bore
ship.
hole.
Yeah.
Let's hear him talk about this league.
Yeah. How excited are you to get to Washington, D.C., to see the ACC, to see Wake
Weird.
Forest?
How fucking weird. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I don't know why it's in D.C., man.
Why is it in DC? Stupid shit.
I
This
don't
is
know.
some like it's a league who's lost its way. That's period. All right, go ahead.
No, tell us why to be excited about it. Give us a reason.
I can't. If you're gonna go to DC, there's a lot of good food options in DC. Love DC. Love DC.
Big D.C. guy. Yeah. Love D.C.
Yeah. I mean, you're hopeful that you get Duke. It would be dramatic if we get Duke Carolina round 3, and then if Duke could put it together. Remember, Duke's the reigning ACC tournament champions, and they hadn't done that in a little bit, and Shire didn't in year 1, so he's got experience with that. But like the bubble talk here, Wake Forest has moved away, Pittsburgh's moved away. I guess the drama is if you get Pitt/Wake winner against Carolina in the semis, that team's going to be fighting for its life. But like, I guess this conference is defeated when you look at the fact that Virginia's the 3 seed. I mean, I think Clemson's the dark horse to win this tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be Duke Carolina in the finals. Like
Yeah.
the thing about the ACC this year is like there's not even interesting storylines. Like, yes, can Virginia get a bid to the tournament? Do we want them to get a bid to the tournament? Like, is there anything exciting about them at all? The only team that I'm sitting here, honestly, like that Wake Forest Pitt potential 4-5 matchup.
That's the game. That's the game. If there's a game in the entire tournament, it's Wake Forest Pitt. But man, like Wake Forest has to beat Georgia Tech or Notre Dame, which isn't a given.
Notre Dame is good. Like,
yeah, Notre Dame's good. People are sleeping on Notre Dame, but that goes back to the thing that I've been clowning about all freaking season long. Like, you can't suck in the non-con and then get better in February. And that's what happened to Notre Dame, and it's hurt the league.
Notre Dame lost at home to Georgetown.
I know, but they've gotten much better because Micah Shrewsbury is in year 1, and hold on, Fanta, and he's playing a ton of freshmen, and those freshmen are good. Marcus Burton's going to be freshman of the year in the league, and he deserves it. And Micah Shrewsbury will be coach of the year next year. They're going to have a massive turnaround. You wait and watch.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I hear what you're saying about not being good in the non-conference, and then
Sucks.
Being good.
It sucks because they obliterate. They obliterate numbers. They've obliterated, and I knew this shit was going to happen. I called it. I was like, Notre Dame is going to be better at the end of the year, and they're going to clip somebody. Somebody's going to clip somebody. The only people that haven't been able to do it is freaking Louisville. Anyway, the game to watch, if Wake's able to win their first game, is Wake Pitt. That's the game to watch because Pitt's quietly been pretty good, especially in league play. So that's kind of that's the game to watch. If Pitt can win that one, and they beat Carolina in round 2, then I think they get serious consideration. But I like Wake.
The hell happened in Miami this year? Made the Final 4 last year. They're 14th in this league. Holy
they stink. They've been injured some, but Nigel Pack has struggled without Isaiah Wong. They didn't have a shot creator. Matthew Cleveland hasn't won anywhere he's ever been. He has never won. I don't think he will ever win at the college level. They tried to replace Jordan Miller, who could have been ACC Player of the Year last year, with a guy who doesn't know how to win games. And Matthew Cleveland doesn't know how to win games. He has tools. He has long arms. His numbers scream. He doesn't do so in winning fashion.
I wish the Wake Pitt winner was facing Duke. If we get Wake Pitt, because I think that would make this a little bit more interesting. But the fact they're playing Carolina, I just can't see Carolina losing to either of those two teams. By the way, can we give North Carolina their flowers? Hubert Davis deserves National Coach of the Year consideration. He will not get it, but he deserves.
He won't win it, but he deserves to be in that.
I mean, what a Cormac Ryan! Cormac Ryan, you're my Player of the Week nationally. Holy smokes! What a
let's talk about that real quick because the after seeing Duke Carolina play and Carolina go into Duke and get a win where they kind of held little brother at arm's length. I don't know, it just said that, but it kind of was what it was. If we get a Carolina Duke rematch, who you guys got? Tio, give me your prediction there.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, but I just think physically Carolina could just beat them up. I would pick Carolina again.
Fanta?
Well, I think Carolina would probably be favored by like 5. Man, you just want to sit here and say a week removed from that, like, does something go differently? I don't know, man. I'll go Duke. I'll go Duke just by virtue of here's the deal. We could break this down till the sun comes up, but we all know a week from now we're going to be wrong on half this crap.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the best part. That's the best part of people coming back a week later and be like, you suck, T.O. You suck, Fanta. Doster, we've always known you suck, but you suck more now.
I'm going to go Duke. I'm going to go Duke, but I'm secretly rooting for Virginia to win the conference tournament because nothing makes any sense.
I think North Carolina rolls. Like, I just think that they're head and shoulders above anybody else in this.
They should be, but the head and shoulders. What's the incentive? What's
Carolina? I think
the incentive to play?
I think this group of Carolina guys is different because none of them have won anything, especially the role players. Like, the reason to me why this Carolina team is as good as they are is because Cormac Ryan has been elite in his role as like a defensive 3-and-D guy. Harrison Ingram has been one of the best, if not the best, like junkyard dog fours in all of college basketball. Elliot Cadeau and understands that like he's there to set everybody else up and doesn't want any shots. Armando Bacot doesn't give a damn about anything other than W's right now, and it's hurt his numbers. Right. And it's probably hurt his pro prospects, and he don't give a shit at all. He just wants to win. RJ Davis, he knows that the best way for them to win is sometimes for him to go out there and get 40, right? Like, everybody knows who they are, what they're supposed to be. They all lost last year, and they all want to win stuff this year. So I think that they actually give a shit. Like, I think that they're going to show up in DC and try, like, they want to cut down those nets more than anything else. Like, I think that there's a motivational thing there. So I think North Carolina rolls. I bet they win every game by double figures. I think it's just gonna be one of those ones where we look up on Saturday evening and they're just like, it's possible. Like, yeah, that was inevitable. Like, they were possible. Always going to be the way that it played out. All right, let's move on. I want to get to the Big 12 here too, because
why is it in DC?
It's just they're trying to take care of different partners. Like, they keep bouncing it around. It's going to be back in Brooklyn at some point too. It's really dumb, but they had it there. They had it there 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, and I went to it. It actually was a pretty good environment. Like, it wasn't the worst environment in the world, but it is what it is. Big 12.
It was such a bad look. I'm just going to vent for 2 seconds because this league has lost its way. It was such a bad look whenever I was going from Big East tournament at MSG, taking the subway 20 minutes, and then getting off at the Barclays, and it was just like nothing. It was like crickets in there. It was like a museum. It really was. You know what? That's what it was. The ACC at the Barclays was a museum of what was once great.
ACC at the Barclays is a museum of what was once great. Well,
because I was going from the MSG with the Big East where the fan base was nuts. It was crazy. So you go to the Barclays and it's quiet in there. You hear the shoes squeaking, and it was just kind of an exhibition of what once was. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Nope.
Well,
you're right. Yes, you're right. It makes complete sense.
It's symbolic of the former Big East programs that got it back to New York, that thought New York City would spark life. The fact is, the Barclays Center is the little brother, if it even is in the same family as Madison Square Garden.
No, look,
but I'm talking about the league, Fanta. I'm talking about the league being in the wrong spot. Yes. Like, I understand what you're saying. You
need to have conference tournaments in one location every single year so that the fans can build up. Like, part of the reason why everyone loves the Big East tournament is because every single fan base has, like, this is the bar we go to. These are the hotels we stay at. This is where we go to dinner. Like, there's traditions within families of these different fan bases, right? Like, everyone's got the spot that they go to. There's the bar that all the Providence fans go to every single game that they play at MSG. You probably have that at the Big 12 because it's always in Kansas City, right? There are going to be times when you're in Indianapolis versus Chicago for the Big 10 where you have those traditions and you don't have that bouncing around. The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the conference and NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD150 and you'll get $150 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD150. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game, and you get $150 in free bets regardless of the outcome. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD150 when you sign up. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the conference tournaments and for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, and what I love the most, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets for anything that you could possibly imagine betting on in March and in early April. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use Field150 as the code, and sign up today. And while I've got you here, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get here for absolutely free is to engage with it. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to our show. All right, Big 12 tournament, Kansas City. Tell me why this isn't just Houston's to win. Can anybody beat them here? I think that they are just so much better than everybody else in this conference, which is crazy. I think everybody else in this league is like a 5 to 6 seed kind of a team, and Houston's like number 1, number 2, whatever. Convince me, Fanta. Convince me into someone else. There's only one other team that I think has a real shot to win this.
I was saying.
Well, I think first off, I do think that that the BYU Texas Tech, if that's a quarterfinal, a 4-5, that's a very entertaining game because of BYU's ability to hit perimeter shots. And Texas Tech, on their side, can they find themselves here? Can they produce offensively behind Pop Isaacs? And I expect that game to be potentially high scoring, potentially right down to the wire. But then you get through each other. Whoever wins that game, then you got to play Houston. You're not beating Houston. Houston's going to be in the championship game. Who could beat them? Who could beat them? Baylor. Baylor can beat them because Baylor has the talent and Baylor has the offensive playmakers to give Houston matchup issues. I mean, Baylor almost did it, right? They came back against Houston a couple of weeks ago and came this close to winning the game. So between Jacoby Walter and Ray J. Dennis and that explosiveness on the perimeter, the Bears can get going in a hurry. And Scott Drew can make a run at this thing. And remember, maybe, I don't know the answer to this, but maybe you see Houston blink when they get to a Big 12 tournament. Because remember, this is new for them too. It doesn't seem like anything phases this group, but there is something to be said about going to the same destination. Will Houston fans travel to Kansas City? I mean, I figure that they will, but Baylor can beat them. And Baylor should advance to the final out of their side in the bracket. Kansas is in a bad way. Kansas being the 6th seed. I mean, has Kansas ever been the 6th seed in the Big 12 tournament?
No. They've never had more than, I think they have 8 losses this year, and they've never had more than 6 losses in a league season under Bill Self. But it's wild though. We're sitting here saying
he just doesn't have enough players this year.
Yeah. And McCullough's banged up, Dickinson's banged up. It's not. This has been what it. I feel like every other coach in America runs into these years once in a while where just everything goes wrong, and it just never happened to Bill Self.
I know we're a gambling thing here at the Field of 68. There's a lot of gambling. Go ahead and see what the favorite is for next year's national title before the transfers start rolling into Kansas.
Yeah, you think it'll be Kansas?
I think Kansas will be in the mix, and you'll be able to get some good value heading into the tournament if you do a really early bet.
I'm sorry, but you're going to get really pissed at me. You just really, you're going out on a limb. You got Kansas in the mix to win it all. And
next year.
No, I know, but they're in the fucking mix to win it all every year.
I know, but what I'm saying is you might be able to get good value considering they're the 6th seed in the Big 12 tournament. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you could get a good number.
Yeah, Fanta. You know who else I think has a chance to win the national title next year? Not this year, next year. I think Duke, man. I think Duke's going to be real
Nah,
good.
man.
They got this guy coming in. I don't know if you guys
yeah.
ever heard of him, Cooper Flagg. Like he's
Yeah,
pretty
you guys
good,
are struggling.
man.
You guys are struggling to come up with insults with this one, guys, because it really doesn't make sense. My point remains the same.
Terrence
I also
Ogle's
just feel
the
like you're.
gambling expert.
I also
No,
just
my
feel like
point remains the
TO's
same. You're going to get a good number, dude. They've been very good this year. That's what I'm saying.
We can't insult TO. Like this is
You
just
can't,
because
No,
I
you
wasn't
just
work.
said.
Because
It
I
just rolled off
win.
his shoulder.
All I do is win. That's it.
Not in Papa Shot last year at the Final Four. You did.
That is correct.
I beat Rob. What are you talking about?
You lost
beat
2 out of
Rob.
3. You lost 2
You
out of
got
3,
beat
bro.
so bad.
At
You're
what?
not
You lost
coming
2 out
back
of
to the
3.
Final Four this year. You got beat so bad you can't even come back this
He won't
year.
even show, he
That's
won't
just
show
not
his
true.
face. He won't show
That's
his
not
face.
true.
Hagen Hughes
So,
beat you. Hagen Hughes. beat you.
Rob was so mad that he lost in Papa Shot, Fanta. As soon as he loses, his head just snaps to me and he goes, 2-1, motherfucker. And he counts a 1 shot off in Texas as a win. So, whatever you guys want to call it.
I mean,
You know what?
anytime
The
you want to have a
shit that
shooting,
me and
I'm
guy-
right here. I'll tell you what. Run it back.
The
in Final
shit
Four.
that me and Robbie Hummel put up with you guys and your little competitions between you and Goodman is hilarious. It is hilarious.
Look, I know my scout is a basketball player, and I promise you right now that if we go have a shooting contest at a 3 like in any gym in America, odds are that you'll probably beat me. I sure as hell ain't gonna embarrass
Odds
myself.
are.
I
about
sure
as
as hell
sure a
ain't
bet
gonna
as you'll
embarrass
ever
myself.
find. More
I
than
sure
one
as hell ain't
shot.
gonna embarrass myself. Look, I sure as hell I'm not gonna embarrass myself. Now, if it has to do with anything other than like anything athletic that isn't just like standing in one spot and putting up jumpers, you probably got me right now.
What's the next conference tournament?
All right, Big 12, like Houston wins it, right? Okay. I think we're all kind of there. Like the intrigue of this tournament like completely went away from me. Like there's just a bunch of okay teams and there's not really any storylines, whatever. It is what it is. All right. Well, Big 10. Purdue probably going to get it done. What do you guys think?
I'm going to take the field. I'm taking the field. I'll probably regret it.
I have 2 takes here for you guys. All right. I have 2 takes.
I'm going to take the field. The most intriguing storyline to me is Ohio State. So
Yes.
Ohio State has 19 wins, 1 against Purdue, 1 against Alabama, 1 at Michigan State. Could Jake Diebler and the Buckeyes make the NCAA tournament? The answer is yes. Here's how. If they can beat Iowa, 7-10 game, 6:30 Thursday, really interesting game. If they can win that game, they then would play Illinois. Now, Illinois to me, like, I love their win over Iowa. Again, having a terrific season. And, it's obviously intriguing here to see, like, Selection Sunday. Again, the Terrence Shannon Jr. storyline is a national storyline because, one, you can argue him as an All-American, and I think that he is. And 2, his off-the-court stuff is very extreme and scandalous, and it's all out, it's allegation still has to be figured out, but it's hanging over like a dark cloud. And it's only going to increase as time goes on this month, meaning if Illinois were to make the Big Ten final, the literal game of college basketball before the selection show would be featuring a player that's in many discussion spaces that are both among us, people who cover the sport daily, but also among people who don't even follow college basketball regularly that would be discussing before Selection Sunday. Should he even be playing? The point is that's eyeballs. That's viewership. That's ratings. The Big Ten final always does a big rating. If Ohio State meets Illinois and Ohio State beats Illinois, Ohio State is going to make the NCAA tournament. They will have 21 wins. They will have beaten Illinois on a neutral. They will have beaten Purdue. They will have beaten Alabama. Their non-conference is strong. They really don't have any terrible losses. They would be in the tournament. That is my top storyline. I am going to take the field in the Big Ten tournament if you're asking me Purdue versus everyone else. And I would be intrigued to see a Purdue-Wisconsin round 3.
Yeah.
That happens. Diebler's got that job.
Yeah. So here's my take on it, okay? I think the most intriguing storyline is Michigan State. Can they – because I think – I went on a rant about this last night on After Dark. I'm not going to repeat the entire thing here. I think they have to win against Minnesota to get in the tournament. They've lost 4 out of the last 5. They're 18-13 and they're 10-10. It's not like they have a great resume. Give me Indiana State over them. And I know that the metrics and the resumes and all these fielding the 68 guys are going to be like, there's no way it happens. Fuck that. Give me Indiana State over Michigan State. 2, Purdue against Northwestern in the semifinals. Boo Boo is going to go for 40 in that game. Watch. If they get there, Boo Boo is going to go for 40. He is the perfect guard to break up Purdue's drop coverage and to attack them here. And 3, I want your take on this, Tio, specifically, okay? I think this year's Illinois is exactly what the last 2 seasons Miami was, okay? They don't really guard all that much. The metrics aren't that great, but they got a coach who just kind of says, you know what? We got dudes that can rock. And you're not going to be able to stop Isaiah Wong run one-on-one when I got this matchup. All right, give him the rock. It's an Isaiah Wong game. You're not going to be able to stop Jordan Miller on this night. Okay, one-on-one. Go, give him the rock. Tonight, it's Nigel Pack. Let him cook. Rugal Poplar, go ahead. You're getting yours tonight. And I think with Illinois, we see the same thing with Marcus Domask and Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins and a lot of what they do. That's the essence of booty balls. They just kind of play one-on-one and they say that our dudes are better than your dudes. I think Illinois makes the Final Four this year. That's my hot take. I don't know what happens in the Big Ten tournament. I don't really care about the Big Ten tournament. I don't think Big Ten fans really care about the Big Ten tournament. I think Illinois.
No, I don't think so either, actually. I think it's just kind of a foregone conclusion. Everybody thinks Purdue's going to win. But I'll be honest, guys. I don't think Purdue would be sad if they lost in their first game.
Especially because Braden Smith rolled his ankle on Sunday.
Edey did too, right? Like he rolled his ankle. Like I think the Purdue fans would almost rather, you never want to lose, but you get what I'm saying. Like have a little bit of extra rest heading into the NCAA tournament because the Big Ten plays all the way to Sunday. Probably need to start considering moving these conference championships to Saturday if you have legitimate shots at winning these things.
No, the Big Ten is the best television slot in the country.
Mm-hmm. They're never going to move it. It's just sliding straight into the selections. Like it just. The TV executives love it, and the TV executives have proven that they don't give a shit about the quality of the product on the actual sport. All right, last thing that we're going to do is we're going to preview the Pac-12 tournament, okay? Arizona.
Oh, fun.
That's the end of the DTF podcast. We'll see you guys again next week. We're going to come here. You'll see us on Monday.
Hey.
We're good.
No. Do the Pac-12 some homage.
Yeah, here's the thing.
It's the last Pac-12.
It's the end of the Pac-12, and yeah, we should probably say something. But I fucking hate that this is where we are. We're talking about TV executives. We're talking about how they destroyed the sport. We're talking about how all these suits, they don't give a damn about what they're actually watching. Don't actually have any investment or loyalty into the teams, into the sports. They care about being able to put a little bit more money in the pockets of these ADs, in the pockets of these TV executives, in the pockets of these decision makers, and making sure that these universities with billion-dollar endowments get an extra 0.01% revenue coming in. It's ridiculous. It sucks. I hate it. It's not right. We should not have the Pac-12 getting blown up, but it is what it is, and that's where we are right now. Colorado, Utah, they play that in the quarterfinals. It could be a bubble game. Washington State, give me all the Kyle Smith. I'm all the way invested in Kyle Smith. Let's find a way to get Washington State to win something, to cut down some nets. I want to see it happen. Arizona's probably the best team in this league. They can make a Final Four. That's all I got, guys. The Pac-12.
Washington State swept Arizona, didn't they?
They did.
Got a broom.
Give
me Washington State to win the league and Arizona to make an Elite Eight.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's, by the way, really crucial month for Arizona because here Tommy Lloyd last year lost to Princeton, and if Purdue didn't lose to FDU, we'd be talking about Arizona trying to shake off the March Demons. Oregon is the 4 here, and Dana Altman says he's coming back. I just don't understand the state of this program, this Oregon program. Like they were an Elite 8 team a couple of years ago. Peyton Pritchard had them on an incredible run too. 20 wins on the season, but they've had a couple of injuries. Is it Jermaine Cuisinart or Cuisinart?
Cuisinart.
Cuisinart is their lead scorer, has had a nice season. I can't figure out that program as a whole because defensively they're not good. They're sub 80. Offensively, they're typically solid. This year they've been decent. just outside the top 60. Like, I want to say Arizona, Oregon excites me. There was a day and age where that game excited me. And I just can't figure out the Ducks as a program right now. And Altman's going to be back, but like, I don't know if that's the best thing for Oregon. You're not going to get rid of Dana, but like the state of that program as they head into the Big Ten they're off the map. They're not relevant right now. Really.
If they can hang on to those freshmen. They've been playing a lot of freshmen, a lot of minutes. That's really what's kind of happened with them.
Then you got to avoid the portal, right? You got to, Jackson and Jackson Shelstad, like you're right. He's a very talented player. Had 23 points against Colorado this past week. Colorado to me is intriguing. Do they intrigue you guys at all? I mean, they've got KJ Simpson. They've got a couple of players that are big time talents. Like Tad Boyle's team has been a disappointment overall. I expected them to have a really strong season.
None of these bubble teams intrigue me at all. Like Colorado can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. Iowa can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. A lot of these teams that are sitting here saying like, we got to find a way to play our win in the Pac-12 tournament. Like, give me Indiana State over all of them. Right. Here's my thing about the net. All right. I said I wasn't going to go on this rant.
I agree with that.
I'm going to go on this rant. Fuck it. I'm going to go on this rant. Part of the reason why Michigan State is in the NCAA tournament comfortably by both by the projections of most bracketologists, is they have a certain number of quad one wins. One of those quad one wins at home is Indiana State. Indiana State had to play at the Breslin Center. They had to play all their best non-conference games away from Terre Haute because no one will actually go there to play them. No one will actually play them at home, right? Terre Haute, whatever it is. And they are rated high enough in the metric that the NCAA put together to determine the quality of these teams to be a quad one win in the Breslin Center for Michigan State. And that's part of the reason why Michigan State is going to make the NCAA tournament. But we're saying that Indiana State, number 26 in the net, is not good enough to be an NCAA tournament team because they happen to play in the Valley and they don't get a chance to play 21 quad one and quad two opponents because it says Indiana State instead of Michigan State on their jersey. And people view Tom Izzo and that Big Ten program in a much different light than they view Josh Schertz and a Missouri Valley program. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Like, if you're going to sit here and tell us that this metric that we're putting out in the net tells you how good wins are, and we're going to use that as a sorting system, and we're just going to fucking ignore it when it comes to putting teams in the tournament. What's the point? What are we doing here? They went 28-6. They went 28-6, and because they had one bad night on the road against Illinois State, we're going to sit here and say, fuck you, get out of here. No, man. What are we doing?
So
what
then
world are we living in?
Well, I mean, the same. I had to get that out. No, I mean, hey, here's the thing. I did that feature on James Madison. And they're a win away from not being up for discussion. But yeah, like they're 29-3. And if they lose to Arkansas State, they won't make March Madness. They're 29-3. And by the way, went to the Breslin Center opening night. And what did they do to Michigan State? They beat them.
Mm-hmm. Dog walk.
Beat them. James Madison's quadrant one record, 1-1. You know why? They can't.
Nobody will play him.
Nobody will play him.
That's the problem with the net. That's the problem with the net, right there.
The net's rating these teams the right way. Why can't we use it to put them into the tournament?
But the net is a flawed system. It's flawed terrible system. But here's the other thing. The committee, I have heard this through the grapevine, that Dan Gavitt and the committee, and I think they just should come out publicly. Like, I think we would all love it if they just came out publicly and said what I've heard murmurs of, is that it was never the intention for people to be waking up daily and being like, hey, babe, new net dropped. Like, oh, they jumped 3 spots. They're in. That's not, folks, that's not how it works. Like, if that's how it works, then going back to like a Seton Hall, they're net 62. We would be saying right now, they're probably not a tournament team, but they're going to make it. They're in. Like, there's no chance that they miss the tournament. None. Remember, the game against St. John's Thursday is a road game.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
it's a true road. It's a true road game. It's a
true.
Right. So here's the thing. Like, it should not be the sole. It's the committee has said, apparently behind closed doors, guys, it was never meant to be the end all be all. But to your point, if it is as important as we're saying it is, then Indiana State should hear their name called on Selection Sunday.
They should
Indiana
anyway.
State is deserving of it.
Give them in. Put them in. Put them in.
James Madison, put them in. If Arkansas State wins today, like, put James Madison in.
I do support Jeff. I do support Jeff Goodman's take on having the 4 mid-majors, top mid-majors, and the 4 power conference schools that are literally on the cut line meeting in a first 8 if tournament expansion happens. It is something we would all sign up for. And I guarantee you that if
those mid-major games would win.
Right? What's that?
Those mid-major teams would win.
That right now I'd pick at least 3 of the mid-majors to win out of the 4. So it's got to change. It's got to change. We're going to find out this Sunday. There's going to be somebody really pissed off. But let me tell you right now, Colorado and Utah and Iowa, and for that matter, Villanova fans, if you're mad about your team missing it, then maybe you shouldn't have taken 12 or 13 or 14 losses. Enough is enough.
I will tell you this. If Villanova gets in with 15 losses, including losses to Penn, Drexel, and St. Joe's, and Indiana State doesn't get in because they got that one bad loss to Illinois State at home. Losing at Southern Illinois is a quad 2 loss. There ain't no shame in losing at home or losing at Southern Illinois. If Indiana State doesn't get in and Villanova does get in, I will raise epic levels of hell. Which means there will be like a 5-minute rant for me on the field of 68 that everyone will forget about by Tuesday. But still, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm going to seek out David Warlock and give him a piece of my mind when he.
Don't you do that to David Warlock?
Yeah, he doesn't. He's got to deal with us enough. David Warlock's good. I'm just kidding, David. Listen, this has been the DTF podcast. Fanta's got to go hit a shoot around. T.O. looks like he's got a tea time that he's got to get to. My man is relaxing. It looks like a beautiful day out there in
it is nice here,
South Carolina. We're gonna hit 70s this week, man. The cages just got put up at the baseball field. My son's travel team just got drafted. We just put together our rec baseball league. I'm coaching 2 different baseball teams this year. T.O. Apparently, I'm a baseball expert. Me and Bryce Harper are gonna be hanging out here nonstop. So 4. John Fanta at the Big East Women's Tournament. 4, Terrence Oglesby, who's about to get on a plane and head to Vegas. And 4, myself, who's heading up to New York City for the Big East Tournament on Wednesday night. This has been the DTF podcast. The next time we see you guys, we are going to have an NCAA Tournament bracket.
Woo!